The Cleveland Cavaliers are dismantling before our very own eyes. And yes, we know that this is a Knicks YouTube channel, but Chris and I are here to break it all down. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris from Knicks Digest. And yes, of course, we got to get into the Cleveland Cavaliers news as of late because, of course, it pertains to a particular player that the Knicks have been attached to in the rumor mill since the last, I don't know how many seasons. But if we take a look into a quote that Shams and Joe Varden had for an article published on The Athletic, it goes into Donovan Mitchell's long-term future with the franchise looms large if he won't commit to the Cavs beyond the next season. The team will likely have to trade him. If the Cavs season is to be derailed by these two lengthy injuries to key players, the rest of the league will immediately turn toward the shores of Lake Erie to see if Mitchell is available even earlier. They will need to restock their cupboard with draft picks if they decide they need to move on. Now, that little expert from the article is because the Cleveland Cavaliers, just a couple days ago, it was reported that Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, they're going to miss a huge chunk of the season. Darius Garland went out with a fractured jaw, and Evan Mobley, it was just reported that he had to go under the knife for an arthroscopic knee surgery procedure. So, Chris, Donovan Mitchell, again, like I said in the beginning of the video, he's been attached to the Knicks since the beginning of last season. When you see the Cleveland Cavaliers this season, the chemistry is still not there. What do you make of all this information?
I think it's a mix of things for Cleveland, whereas they expect it to be better. And by they expected Evan Mobley specifically to be better. When they traded for Donovan Mitchell, in my mind, I remember sitting at my desk. I was in college, and I just see Donovan Mitchell has been acquired by, and I was waiting to see who it was. Like, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. And in my head, I'm like, I'm upset because I've just had everyone say that he's going to the Knicks that I just talked myself into wanting it so badly. And then he didn't. He goes to Cleveland. And when I saw that trade, I was like, that's a really good trade for Cleveland because what they're banking on is Evan Mobley becoming the best player on the Cavs and Donovan Mitchell being his second guy, where you could also round out the roster with potentially Jared Allen or whatever you could get for him in a trade, and then Darius Garland and whatever Isaac Okoro can become. Obviously, this has not turned out. No one really on the Cavs has improved that much. Darius Garland had that all-star season a few years ago. It feels like he cannot recapture that magic. As you said, he fractured his jaw. He ran right into Porzingis. He's out a while. Evan Mobley's out 6 to 8 weeks with that arthroscopic knee surgery. Jared Allen, he's Jared Allen. You know what you're going to get from him. And then you have Donovan Mitchell, who the big thing is, he doesn't want to carry teams. He doesn't want to do what he had to do in Utah, where he has to have the ball the entire time. That's essentially why he wanted to leave. He did not want to feel like he's carrying the load that the way he was on offense. And now he's going to do that right again. Obviously, the Knicks are going to hit him up and they're just, or we'll hit up Cleveland and be like, hey, what's the price? It's one of those things where how much is Cleveland's price eventually going to diminish because it's very clear to anyone who's been paying any attention. Donovan Mitchell will leave that team in free agency and not think twice about it.
Listen, man, I'm over the Donovan Mitchell talk. I don't care if he's an all-star. I don't care if he's one of the top offensive players in the league. I'm over the Donovan Mitchell talk. If he comes to the Knicks, it's not going to raise the Knicks ceiling. I don't care what you tell me, Chris. I don't care what we hear in the comments. I'm not a Donovan Mitchell fan as far as a player. Yeah, yes, I like him. I like what he brings to the I like his individual skill set. You know, he's super athletic, can put the ball on the floor. He has a nice jump shot, mid-range three-pointer. But man, it's just like I don't know what he can do. Like, what is he gonna do when if he comes to the Knicks? Let's say Julius Randle, R.J. Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickly. Do you think those three players, if the Knicks are gonna make a trade at the deadline, I'm assuming those are gonna be the three players in the package?
I would disagree. I don't think Randall gets moved. If you're looking contractually through what exactly the price is on Donovan Mitchell when it comes to just matching salaries, you're giving them RJ Barrett. There's almost no way around that. RJ is going to go in that trade. Cleveland's going to ask for him. Cleveland is right to ask for him.
Absolutely.
And that's just what's going to happen. Like, there's no way around that. I would guess they want Quickly. I would guess if you had to ask opposing GMs just around the NBA, if you were going to trade your star player to the Knicks, and we're talking teams with actual star players, such as Donovan Mitchell, maybe not guys at the level of Jokic, because that's just like a different story, like Jokic and Embiid. But with a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who most people, I think, including myself, would peg as a guy who's probably the second best player on a championship team, I would say that, or I would guess that they would say that Emmanuel Quickly is the guy that they want most from the Knicks because his numbers when he starts games, I think teams would be most likely wanting to take a shot on the guy who they can sort of determine his contract in a way where RJ, he's going to get that poison pill deal. So his contract will increase if he gets traded off the Knicks. And obviously, RJ's career has been a mystery for so long. The teams might be more willing to go for quickly someone who's going to be cheaper than RJ, and also someone who I think a lot of people would see as potentially having a higher ceiling than RJ at this point. It's I've said it before. We've said it to each other a bunch. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and Donovan Mitchell as a team does not work. We're both aware.
Hell no. That's ugly. That's ugly, bro.
Yeah, it's so much ISO scoring. It's one of those teams where you look at them and you're like, all right, well, you need 3 basketballs or this is not gonna work. But we've also talked about this a lot. We've talked about the whole Donovan Mitchell saga and the fact that he doesn't fit with the team. We're both pretty adamant on it. However, I'm a huge fan of Donovan Mitchell, so I'm going to play devil's advocate for the entirety of this video and give some reasons why it would make sense. Do you want to start off, or do you want me to just jump right into this?
Well, yeah, before you jump into it, hold on. There's a couple of stuff that you just said that I'm like, wait, what? Okay,
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
First and foremost, you think Donovan Mitchell would be the second best player on a championship contending team?
I knew you were going to bring this up. I felt it. Like Dariel's going to say something the second I do this. I think he certainly can be. I don't think I think he's closer to a third best player on a championship team than a first. Don't get me wrong. But I think if you put him on a team such as the 76ers or the Denver Nuggets, then yeah, like if you put him next to a true NBA superstar, preferably a big or some sort of forward, then yeah, I genuinely think that he could be the second best player on a championship team, but it needs to be a true superstar.
You see, the reason why I'm just like, because if I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell's career as of late, okay, Utah, he was the man pretty much his whole tenure in Utah. When he came to Cleveland, it was supposed to be like a duo kind of thing with him and or Darius Garland or Evan Mobley, but Evan Mobley hasn't taken that step that they needed in order to push the Cleveland Cavaliers organization further along in the process. Evan Mobley, in my opinion, is the reason why they're stagnant. Evan Mobley needed to develop more of an overall game. He needed to extend his mid-range jumper to the three-point line. That way, him and Jarrett Allen can be in the starting five, and they can play off of each other. But Evan Mobley, he's still like his games revolve so much more around the paint that it clogs up the middle, and that's where Jarrett Allen, that's where he thrives. Jarrett Allen doesn't have a jumper. He doesn't have a three-point. He's kind of like your traditional big man, and traditional big men, they live and thrive off of the paint. And Evan Mobley is just clogging it up. So that, in my opinion, that's why Cleveland Cavaliers have not moved further along in the process. Agreed. But going back to Donovan Mitchell coming to Cleveland, it was supposed to be like a 1-2 kind of thing between him and Darius Garland or him and Evan Mobley. And it hasn't happened. So Donovan Mitchell kind of had to put his foot forward as being the leading man of the team, if you will. And now the Cleveland Cavaliers are where they are. So having said all of that, I haven't seen Donovan Mitchell put in a position where it's obvious that he is like the second or the third best player on the team. So I don't even know if he's able to do that. And again, not all of it is on him, because in the Cleveland Cavaliers situation, like he's just dealt with what he has. So he's just trying to make the most of it. I understand. But man, I don't see it, man. I don't see Donovan Mitchell increasing the ceiling of whatever team. If like you said, Denver, and what was the other team? You said Denver and Philly.
I said Philly because they're in desperate need of some sort of second star.
100%. If he by some miracle, if he gets traded to Philly and he's the second best player with Embiid, I don't see that working, because I don't know if it can. If he goes to Denver, obviously he would be the second best player behind Jokic. I still don't see it, because I don't know if Donovan Mitchell is willing to play off of the ball. And Jokic, he's such a good he's able to increase everybody's ability on the court that, like, it's almost, I've never seen it before. But I don't know if Donovan Mitchell is willing to give it up. I don't know if he's willing to be like, okay, you know what? Jokic or Embiid is obviously the first best player on the team by a mile. So you know what? Let me take a step back. Let me play off him. And so if he comes to the Knicks, depending on who we give up, RJ, Emmanuel Quickly, yeah, it'll be Randle and Brunson. I don't know if Mitchell would have to be the second best player on the team. Randall would have to give up that spot. I don't know if Randall would be up to do that. But I don't know, man. Dude, Mitchell, I don't know. I keep saying the same thing over and over. I just don't see it. I don't like it. And I'm like, if he comes to the Knicks and I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit I'm wrong. Of course, I want to see the Knicks succeed, but at this point, I wouldn't. I don't want to. I don't want to make the move for Mitchell. I'd rather go with the team that we have and see how it plays out, and then take it from there, rather than giving up Barrett quickly. We're definitely going to give up first round picks because we have 8 of them. And I don't want to give up those first round picks for Donovan Mitchell, who's like, what has he done in his career?
Just to play devil's advocate, to make this interesting, to not just harp on all the negatives, Donovan Mitchell is better than anyone, by far, than anyone on the Knicks not named Brunson or Randall. He's just by far better than any of them.
True.
I would love for the Knicks to be able to wait and sign him in free agency. I think that would make more sense. As someone who, speaking of you, not of me, who disagrees with the idea of the Melo trade in 2011 because of the assets given up, I sort of feel similarly when thinking Donovan Mitchell, because I'm convinced Donovan would sign with the Knicks once he hits free agency in 2025. And I'd rather the Knicks just try to maybe acquire someone else. But let's just say that that's not an option. Let's say that Donovan says, nope, not going to sign with the Knicks. You guys got to trade for me, prove that you want me. And again, unrealistic scenario, but just to sort of play devil's advocate, you instantly get a more talented team. The Knicks don't guard the three-pointer anyway. So as much as it would be a perimeter defensive issue having Brunson and Donovan in your backcourt, now at least you have a situation where you have guys who can battle a perimeter that's going to shoot a bunch of threes. For instance, last night the New York Knicks won 139-122 against the Suns. And in the video that I put out recently, I briefly mentioned the best way for the Knicks to beat the Suns tonight is they're going to have to hit a bunch of threes because they certainly don't guard the three. Brunson goes 9 for 9 on threes and has 50 points. That's completely the reason the Knicks won that game. And if you look at it, no one really the Knicks don't play a perimeter defensive game where they're going to be like, let's stop threes. They're focused on stopping the paint anyway. So if you have Donovan Mitchell there, you're like, all right, well, yeah, our defense takes a hit, but who cares? The Knicks don't guard threes anyway. Let's just have Donovan and Brunson be able to battle these guys and let them funnel them into Mitch when Mitch comes back and is healthy. And it's sort of similar to those Utah Jazz teams, which isn't a great look, but also it's better than that because the Utah Jazz didn't have a Jalen Brunson and Mike Conley. They didn't have a Julius Randle. The Knicks would be a more talented version of that Utah Jazz team in a sense where you're looking at a team that's just going to play offense and funnel every player on offense when you're defending right into your like absolute tremendous rim protector who's a defensive player of the year candidate. Or was before the injury.
Right.
I think it makes the Knicks better at basketball. And for a team that's terrible at guarding threes because of a coaching scheme, it's a situation where you should just go for it anyway in that case. Because at least you don't need Jalen Brunson to score 50 points to win in a semi-blowout fashion.
Another argument that you could have, literally you, if you're playing devil's advocate, is who else is out there?
Yeah, realistically, you got to use these draft picks at some point. You got to use these assets before they can just walk in free agency. Obviously, I'm talking about Emmanuel quickly with that one. But before you lose these assets, before you have to pay them an absurd amount of money, you got to move them at some point. Embiid's not going anywhere. The 76ers have been way too good. Giannis, it felt like that was a possibility for 5 minutes, and then the Dame thing happens, and Giannis resigns. Unless you want to take the gamble on Zion, which includes trading Randall and completely changing the timeline, and just
hell no.
Exactly. No, you're changing the entire Knicks timeline doing that, where you're also gambling on Zion Williamson, and both of those would be bold. Outside of that, who else is there? I mean, I guess you could wait and see if Luka gets upset.
No, but they're rolling right now. They're rolling.
They're playing really well. So I don't think that's an option because as long as the Mavs are good enough, Luka's not leaving. It will
Right.
take them missing the playoffs again
No,
to do.
there's like every player that we bring up, like Carl Anthony Towns, the Minnesota Timberwolves are rolling,
The
and
Timberwolves are on fire. They're an
and then
amazing team this year.
and then even with that, it's like Carl Anthony Towns coming to the Knicks. That's like it's like a lateral move. It's like every player that we come up with. Literally the only team that I'm thinking about right now that's in the trade rumor mill with every team in the NBA is Chicago Bulls. We're talking about DeMar. We're talking about Zach LaVine. You and I, we put out a video maybe like last week talking about trade rumors for the Knicks, and DeMar and Zach were in that video. And even with that, bro, it's still like, what are we getting? There's nothing
And if you're
solidified that's gonna be like, yes, let's do it. This is an obvious option that we need to take. Golly, man, I don't
and
know,
just
man.
to just to push today's pro Donovan Mitchell agenda that I have, you are gonna make a trade with the Bulls for DeRozan and Levine. Just trade for Donovan. He's better than the both of them. They all have the same issues where they don't really defend. And at least Donovan's better than them. He hits threes better. He's just a better player.
I get it. If we roll with the same team that we have right now, the ceiling is the second round of the playoffs. But there was like a lot of things that I guess you could say we got lucky on. Cleveland Cavaliers, it was their first time in the playoffs. Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, it was the first time with like the bright light spot on. The bright lights were on them. Nobody expected the Knicks to win, so they were kind of like playing freely. So it was like a
Yeah.
lot of things that the Knicks had in their favor. So now going into this playoffs, I don't think you can say that again. If they get matched up with Cleveland, if they get matched up with another team, like everybody knows what the Knicks have. They know how good of a player Brunson is. So I get why you would make it, but like I don't see Donovan Mitchell coming to the Knicks and then the Knicks making a crazy upset and going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I don't think that's realistic. And if you're not putting a team together that's going to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA championship, then what is the point of it?
I mean, I would say that the big thing is you have a better chance of just blowing up and getting and hitting a hot streak with Donovan Mitchell, especially even if you're missing RJ and quickly because you traded them to the Cavs along with like let's say they trade RJ quickly and like three firsts, two unprotected, one protected, something like that. That's probably pretty close to what they would actually trade, I would guess. And if you have that team, and this is no shade at RJ or Quickly, who I'll be honest are literally my two favorite players on the Knicks, I think you have a better chance at going to the Eastern Conference Finals because in my mind, there's a better chance that Donovan Mitchell randomly averages 35 points per game on 55, 45, 90 splits than either Quickly or RJ Barrett do. And yeah, Quickly and Barrett are both better defenders than Donovan Mitchell. But Quickly comes off the bench, which is fine because it's not who starts, it's who finishes if you ask Tibbs. But it also matters who starts. And then RJ, as great as he was last playoffs, he's not better than Donovan Mitchell is at the sport of basketball. And Donovan, literally, again, the man scored 71 points in a game. Yes, it was a regular season game, but he scored that in a game. He's the third highest points scored in a single playoff game in NBA history. If you want a chance to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, if the Knicks have decided, let's go for it, you really don't have any other trade options. You could acquire Donovan Mitchell, and you have a better chance of him popping off than you have of anyone currently on the Knicks outside of Brunson. And even so, you could really argue who's better all day. I think we would both side with Jalen Brunson. I think that one makes more sense because he's won in the playoffs against Mitchell when they faced off.
Facts.
But Donovan is one of those people who is probably top five in the league when it comes to just getting on a roll and on a hot streak. Like game to
Right,
game,
right.
quarter to quarter even. Like no one randomly walks into 71 points in a game. It's the same way how everyone was always like, yeah, when Klay Thompson gets hot, there's nothing to do about it. Like game 6 Klay, that stuff. It's sort of a similar vibe with Mitchell where it's like, yeah, you're banking on him hitting his stride, but there's going to be less defensive pressure on him because you have Randall and Brunson out on the court. And if Randall and Brunson are willing to sacrifice a few shots because Donovan Mitchell is on a burner, which we just saw Randall do last night for Jalen Brunson when Randall started hot, Brunson took over, and then Randall sacrificed shots. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't believe that Donovan Mitchell could just do better than that. And not drag the Knicks, but give them the spark that they need and the shot creation outside of Brunson to just go on some massive run. Do I think it would happen? Certainly. No, I would actively bet against it, but I think it could happen.
Listen, the one thing I'll say that you just did for me, you at least opened up my mind to the fact of I get why they would make the move. If they make the move, I would be upset, but I'd be open-minded and I'd be like, okay, let's just see how it plays out. Because yeah, you have a point. They have all these picks, and what are you gonna do with all the picks if you're not making a move? And at this
Yeah,
point, we've had it for a while. There's been rumors for Donovan Mitchell, a bunch of players, Karl Anthony Towns, and we haven't made a move. So we can't keep doing the same thing we're doing and then expecting a different result. That's literally the definition of insanity. So
absolutely.
so I'm with you. If they make the move, you've opened my mind to it. If they make the move, I'll be upset. But okay, cool. They made a move. Now we get to at least move forward. We get to see if we got to make another move based off of this move. So
And just a question I want to ask you is just very quickly, if you wake up tomorrow morning and see that Donovan Mitchell has been traded to the Knicks, how big of a part of you is just like, okay, this is going to be exciting to watch, if nothing else, and it changes something, which is exciting for the Knicks because they don't change anything.
I'm literally going to give you an example of what my reaction would be.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go into my phone. I'm gonna go into my phone. I'm gonna open up the notification from Bleacher Report. Donovan Mitchell being traded to the Knicks. My reaction is gonna be like this. All right. Let's see. Let's see. That's gonna be my reaction. It's not gonna be excitement. It's gonna be like, okay, like I get it, but I'm not gonna be like, okay, let's go. We're off to the races. No, I'm gonna be like Brunson, Randall, Grimes, Mitchell Robinson when he's healthy. I'm gonna be like, oh man, that space on the floor. Like I'm a very analytical person. I like so many thoughts run through my mind whenever I'm interested in something and I'm reading it or I'm seeing it for myself. Like a million thoughts pop up into my mind, and that literally would be my reaction. So I'm sorry, man. I wouldn't be excited. I wouldn't be sad. I wouldn't be depressed. But I wouldn't be excited. I'll be straight down the middle.
I would definitely be hype, at least in the short term, just because I'm a huge fan of Donovan Mitchell, and he is a highlight film. Like his
Yeah,
style is
no.
fun.
No,
If
everything you said in this video is not wrong.
Mhm.
It's
You
just
just
like
disagree.
no, because you're talking about Donovan Mitchell, the player, the individualized skill set. You're talking
Uh-huh.
about what he can bring to it as far
Yes.
as like yeah, being an offensive firepower. When he's on a roll, he's one of the top 5 players in the NBA. Everything you're saying is 100% undeniably right. But it's like, what has that gotten him in his career that we can point to and be like, he's a winning player?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right to believe that because I agree. Like the thing is, as much as a lot of the stuff that I've been saying, do genuinely believe. If you asked me, where does Donovan Mitchell rank on potential guys that the Knicks can get who are of that stratosphere of like all-star, perennial all-star type player, he wouldn't be very high just because of the fit. Like for me, more
Yeah.
than anything, it's his fit with the team. Though when it comes down to it, a lot of the way that the NBA is moving makes me feel like if the Knicks are going to get a star, it's either Donovan Mitchell or it's nobody at this point. I don't want them to trade for like someone in their 30s, aka Paul George, because every trade video we've ever made, a different commenter has said Paul George. He's 35 or 34 and he's in year 15. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good personally. No,
That's
no, I'd
that
rather Donovan Mitchell, but
that would be something, and hopefully we're way past this, but that would be something like of the old Nick regime they would make, like Isaiah
oh
Thomas
yeah.
or like I don't know, nah, not Donnie Walsh. Donnie Walsh was actually a really good executive. I don't know. I know Phil Jackson came in after him, but he was a good
I don't know
executive.
why that happened.
Facts.
Donnie Walsh was good at his job.
All right, guys. So that's it for me and Chris. Chris and I, we dove really deep into the whole Donovan Mitchell rumor trade talk. And if you want to leave it in the comments, let us know if you agree with Chris or if you agree with me. Should we actually make the move for Donovan, or should we just keep at what we have right now, see where the team goes towards the playoffs and at the end of the season? But until next time, guys, we'll check you out on the next video. Peace.